Hello, it's Brande Davison here. I'm a design team member with Coco Daisy, and I'm here to show you a 12 by 12 layout using the September 2020 kit, which was called the Solstice collection. Think moons, stars, blues, purples, that kind of thing. Just absolutely fabulous kit. And I am creating a layout that is loosely based on the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit sketch. So when you get the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, you get a sketch, a page idea. There's always like 2 or 3 sort of inspiration items that come with the kit each month. They're printed on these fabulous 8.5 by 11 pieces of paper. At the end of my kit, I store them in a little binder so I can go back to the sketches and page ideas. And the kind of the look and feel of this sketch is really quite a bit down one side of the page, and then quite plain in just the photo, and a couple of embellishments on the other side. And so while that's meant for a traveler's notebook, I absolutely believe anything you can do in a traveler's notebook can happen on a 12 by 12 or any other format, and in the reverse as well. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing with a few of the items from different kits as well. So that fantastically blue striped piece of paper there is from the planner kit. And so it's quite a big sheet that I've just cut down to be, exactly 6 inches wide by 12 inches tall, I guess, so that it's half of my page. And I'm going to be using these fantastic little gold vellum stars that are in the kit. And so they're gold, but more like a yellow, like they're not shiny like a gold, if that makes sense, but they're a gold tone. So I love them because I love that muted look. So I'm going to be using those, and I really let the stars be sort of the inspiration. So I've picked the TN sketch, and then I've let the stars kind of really inspire me. So what I've decided to do is just do all the stars. So I've got my gold vellum ones that come with the various kits from the Solstice collection. Then I've taken the back side of the paper, so that straight paper, the piece I cut off, on the other side has this fantastic script all over it. And so I've taken some die cuts, or some dies that I have that are kind of nesting stars, and I'm going to cut a whole bunch of stars out in the back of this paper here that you can see there that's got the fantastic words on it, the script. And then I'm also going to use some of the packaging. So the packaging in this month's, I guess it is still September, in this month's collection is this fantastic sort of sky with like little stars in it and stuff. And yes, I know it's the packaging, but I'm telling you, this is always fantastic paper to use when you are working on your layouts or your design. So, and I really like the pattern of it. There is a pattern piece of paper in the kit that actually looks a lot like the packaging. But the thing I like about using the packaging is it's of course a little bit tougher, right? It's a thicker cardstock, and it has a bit of a gloss on it. So you get, if you combine some of the packaging paper with some of the regular paper and then some of these vellum hearts, and you'll see later I bring in the vellum stars, and you'll see later I bring in the enamel stars, you get like 4 textures, and I just find that really appealing on the page. I don't know, I think most scrapbookers do this. They sort of pet their page, and I do that a lot. So, the more texture on there, the more happy it makes me. So that's what I'm going for here, is all the stars. So I've cut quite a few in kind of various sizes from either the packaging or the paper from the kits. And then I'm just sort of kind of confettiing them about with the gold vellum stars that come pre-cut with the kits. And I'm just going to play a little bit here because I do end up cutting quite a few more stars. At first I was just looking for like a nice little cascade beside this photo, and then I decided to just totally go for it and really sort of create like a textured kind of strip of paper, if you will, as part of the design. Instead of just making the stars kind of cascade with the photo, I'm going to treat this straight paper as if it's a pattern paper and just layer on top of it. So that's kind of what I do here. The photo that I'm scrapbooking is from a while ago, from my wedding, and it is my nephew and my littlest brother, and they are just tiny little guys. They were part of the wedding party, so they had these cool khaki shorts on and little dress shirts and ties and these little fedoras on, and they're like, I think they had Toms on for shoes. And this is just a picture of them peeking around kind of the taller adults to look at, well, in this case, their sister, or their Auntie B, as they call as my nephew calls me, as we're getting married. So I just think it's the most adorable thing in the world. The photo is fairly grainy, so it's not a good one. So I did apply like a vivid cool filter to it to kind of give it a little bit, kind of make it look like the texture problem is sort of on purpose. And then as well, what I like about the Vivid Cool is I'm working with this blue stripe paper, so it really sort of brings it all in together and gives like a general tone across the page. It doesn't take away from sort of the natural colors in the picture, like there's still greens there. You can still tell they're wearing white shirts. Just gives it a little something. So yeah, so I really like it. But yeah, super cute photo. And then after I've posted it in the various places, before I put things in my album, I go and I journal a lot, and I've got quite a bit to say about these two little characters who just mean the world to me. So what I'm doing there is I'm just going through the kits again, and I'm just picking some paper. So you can see the paper I just cut, it looks exactly like the packaging paper. It's just actual kind of, I guess, cardstock as part of the collection instead of the packaging. So again, a different gloss to it. In fact, no gloss on this page. And then I also took in the Traveler's Notebook Memory Keeping Kit, there's this great kind of perfect classic Traveler's Notebook Daisy Dory size vellum sheet that isn't quite clear. It's kind of got an opaque white, and then it's got these small kind of gold flecks sort of stars throughout. So I've taken that and I've layered there, which is a little bit hard to see on the video here, but there'll be steals at the end where I do a little bit more of a close-up and you can see what it really looks like. And again, just building on texture. So I'm just going to audition a few little items from the various die cuts. After I do a number of pages each month, I intend to put all the kits together that I get into one. So I'm kind of, playing with any of them. And so that's what you can see there in my little tray, is just all of the kits. And as part of the die cuts, there was this little strip of like 3 or maybe it was 4 stars. I think that was from the planner kit. I went and cut them apart so that they were individual stars because they just had a little bit of a different purple tone. And I liked that. And then these are the little tabs that come in various kits, and I love them. Oh my gosh, they're so great, and they're quite thick, so you can get, I just cut them in half because I hate to waste the other side when I'm putting them flat on a piece of paper. But what I like about that is where they're generally folded, even though you cut it in half, that fold doesn't really go away, so you get a little bit of height with them without adding any, dimension that might, wreck your page protectors or whatever. So yeah, so I'm just going to go through and I'm going to audition, and the embellishments that I pick are going to be relatively monochromatic. So I'm really looking for, to align with the blue stripes in the background and really make the gold kind of that secondary color that's brought in. And so just going through, and there's lots of little sayings about, on the agenda and right here, right now, and just all kinds of great things. And so it wasn't hard to pick a whole bunch. It was more around sort of trying to decide the tones that I wanted as well as the size to make that spot look really good. So yeah, so I'm going to audition a few things. I think I even try and use those tags there one time, and then I sort of decide to leave it quite plain. What I'm holding there in my hand are they're navy, like a really bright, fresh navy star washi strip, if you will. They're glitter, but the stars on the inside come out and they're individual baby stars, and then you have this strip left that has like this cascade of stars that are all connected. So they're very cool, and I thought I would bring it into this layout, but I don't think I end up doing that. I get quite wrapped up in the vellum stars and the die cut stars, and then you'll see I do use this collection, instead of having the glitter enamel dots that Coco Daisy is so famous for, they switched up the design of them, and so they are glitter enamel stars, and they have this fantastic blue in there that I end up taking full advantage of here. I think I actually use almost 2 full packages of the blue stripe in the package anyway, not all the other colors. So yeah, going through, picking out, again, that's the sticker sheet. There's some more cardstock or some chipboard there. And then that's me. You can see I just grab the enamel star dots. You can see those there. And it's that strip of blue that I'm really going to focus on. I think I may be bringing a couple of those yellowy ones, the yellow gold ones, but I can't remember. I've used quite a bit in other layouts. So, when you're using all the pretty things on every layout, they start to blend together a little bit. So we'll see here at the end when I add them. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm just gluing down all these little pieces. Again, I'm not really worried about kind of framing all of these stars as embellishments to the photo. I'm really looking, like the photo could actually be removed right now for the purpose of what I'm doing. I'm really looking to just like take that stripe pattern paper of stripes and make it as if the stars are part of the pattern, but they're a little bit lifted up. So I'm going to go through and do that. And then I do realize at some point here that I actually don't have any like vellum tape left. I can't remember, I had the same kind for years and I can't remember who it's even from, but it's specifically for vellum and it's just tiny little dots and you can't see it through the vellum. And I used up like the very last square, oh my gosh, not too long ago. So now I have to think of other creative ways to adhere vellum to the page. So often I'll overlap it with something and then I can hide the glue under there. But in this case, being that, it's kind of a boys layout and I wanted a little bit of rough and tumble in there, you'll see I actually pull out my tiny attacher, which is a Tim Holtz tiny attacher. So just gluing these guys down first so I don't kind of lose the plot of where I had them before I pick this guy up. So my paper stars are down. These embellishments are getting glued down now. One thing I love about using striped paper is that when you're trying to make your embellishment straight, it's so much easier to do. You have a point of reference. So that's there. You can see I'm thinking, obviously, my finger tapping there. And I think this is at the point where I'm going to grab my tiny attacher. Yes, debating how to attach these vellum. So all I've done is I've used the tiny attacher and I just put 2 staples. You only need 1. I don't know why. I feel like there should always be 2 and they're kind of just slightly offset and off angled from each other. I do it every time I use the tiny attacher. I have no idea why, but either way, it works for me. So, and it feels so satisfying to use a stapler for some reason. So I'm all about getting the maximum amount of staples I can in there. So there you go. That is all stapled down. And you can see I have a star that kind of runs off the edge there. That's no problem. I'm going to just cut that down on the side of the edge, but I like the idea, the look of something sort of going off the page. It doesn't just stop. So I do tend to always make something a little bit go off the page and then I just, slice it down afterwards. Kind of gives the illusion of it, being bigger than the page. So, and I'm using suquang, and my trick with doing anything where you're kind of adhering a big sheet with suquang is I put one piece down where there's 2 kind of sides so I can kind of focus on the corner and make sure it's straight. And then I just roll it back there and add more suquang. And score tape or suquang is super sticky, so you don't need much. You can see there I used 3 strips. And then I didn't even bother to put any on the inside track there because I'm about to glue this photo down, which is going to, nothing's going anywhere after this guy is stuck down. So again, bringing in the staples just to kind of bring in that synergy, and I really like using staples on sort of boy-inspired layouts, if that's such a thing. And then those layered papers there, I am going to just slide in behind the striped paper so it doesn't look like, so it's only the photo that's on top, and I really like that look. I think it, I don't know, kind of brings it all together. So another reason not to glue directly on the side of a big piece of paper like that striped one, where you might kind of tuck embellishments and layer. So yeah, so that's down, the tab is on. I'm going to stick down my photo because that's going to be where it lives, and just kind of take a peek around for any other embellishments as well. So you can see here I've got to put those little circles on. I do debate where those guys should go a couple of times, but I like them on this little spot. There's really nothing in the photo at that spot, so it seems quite cute. And I think it provides a little bit of balance to the other side where there's so much going on. And then I do fill that little spot there with a little chipboard. I think that's a chipboard. Maybe it's another die cut. And you can see me take a glass of my wine there as I'm waiting for it to dry. So this is where I pull out the star enamel dots. I'm telling you, every month, the first thing I want to use is my enamel dots. I open my classified kit and check out the enamel dots because they are just everything else is fantastic. Do not get me wrong, but there is something about those 2 things that just brings me total joy. So what I'm doing here is I'm just bringing in the blue, and again, they're a glitter and they have a gloss on them and they have a bit of dimension. So it brings in, all those different textures that I think really draw the eye and just feel and look really appealing to me. And I'm just, adding them to the clusters that are currently there, just here, there, and everywhere, kind of making it almost look like all the stars are kind of falling down the page. Yeah, I really like how it worked out. So gonna play a little bit further here because, that's what happens when you walk away and come back. You can probably notice that the lighting changed a little bit. Gonna see what more I might want to do for adding other embellishments. I felt like I needed a little bit more on and with the photo just to make it a little bit more balanced to the like very busy cascade of stars on the other side. And it's funny, to do that I end up adding this extra circle. I don't know, to balance the other circles on the other side. I'm not sure, but anyway, I can't explain. Sometimes it just makes sense. So, and I tried desperately to use this tag, and I think, I have it in a couple places where I think it actually they could have stayed and they could have been fun. But I didn't love them, and I sort of felt like that blue stripe tag I absolutely love, and so I hate to just use it as a tucked layer when I love it so much that I want to use it as sort of a feature on a page. So I just sort of kept that to the side. And then part of the piece I cut off on the striped paper is this other sort of stripe, and I'm sort of debating if I needed a bit of a darker color behind the photo to kind of draw it out from the white background. And I don't like it on the top and the bottom. It feels like it's boxed it in, but I do like this little strip of dark here that just pokes out on the side of the photo. So I do end up gluing that piece down. And these are just scraps. Like, they're too small to really do anything with but layer, but I keep anything that's a potential layer opportunity from a scraps perspective with just my die cuts and other things from the kit. Yeah, so then you've got it to just tuck like that. So you'll see here in my stills, it still bugged me. I walked away, and I did go back and I added some splatters. I used Shimmer's paints, glimmer, gold glimmer, and then a little bit of witch's blue. And I went a bit crazy with it because, again, just wanted some texture and wanted to break up that big white space a little bit, but still leave it really bright. So yeah, that's me. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you're having a wonderful September.